Our WRAL weather alert day starts out with heavy rain moving into parts of the triangle already. I'll show you when we see the heaviest rain, the strongest gusts coming up.
Storms could cause problems for your morning drive, so we have the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roads to keep an eye on conditions. You're looking live right now at the roads in Raleigh.
Also today, we could finally learn who UNC will hire as its new football head coach. Why NFL legend Bill Belichick coming to Chapel Hill is closer now to becoming a reality. Seems like we've been talking about it for days. Time to put it to rest. Maybe today is the day. We do know it's a WRAL weather alert day. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Yesterday we had inconvenient, messy weather. Today we have miserable and messy weather. Meteorologist Chris Michaels in for Elizabeth right now, and it is coming down in Chapel Hill.
It really is pouring in parts of Orange, Durham, and Person counties. A good morning to you as we give you a live look from Top of the Hill restaurant. You see some of the stoplights blowing in the wind as well, in addition to some of that very heavy rain. Dual Doppler 5000 showing that right on the Orange-Durham County line. And it's going to head right into the Bull City and then eventually up the highway into Oxford. We'll back up the view a little bit. You do see a little bit of light rain in Raleigh and points to the north. Farther to the east, we're going to spend a decent chunk of the morning pretty dry as this moisture comes in from southwest to northeast. Siler City getting poured on, and there's more heavy rain to come for parts of Chatham County this morning. That's why today's a WRAL weather alert day. Most of us seeing at least an inch of rain. The storm risk is a level 1 out of 5, especially east of Wake County. And we could see some wind gusts about 30 to 40 miles per hour, especially late morning into the afternoon. I have that highlighted here in our hour-by-hour rain chances is pretty much the worst of the weather, and then between 2 and 6 p.m. it comes to an end. That's also why we have WRAL's Kelsey Coffey in the Storm Tracker. Kelsey, where are you? What are you seeing so far this morning?
Hey, Chris, good morning. So right now we're about to get up on 440. We are headed towards Durham and Orange County because, as you mentioned, that's where the rain is. So we'll give you a live look now at road conditions. So you can see that there's some water left here on the road. So that's definitely going to be something that you should expect to see on your morning commute. If you are headed out before the rain, at least the roads will be a little bit wet for you. So just be sure to take your time as you are driving on your morning commute. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
State lawmakers return to Raleigh today for what could be the last votes of the year before Republicans lose their veto-proof supermajority in January. The top priority for legislative leaders is a bill stripping power away from incoming Governor Josh Stein, incoming Attorney General Jeff Jackson, and other Democrats who won 2024 elections. Republicans also hope to have the numbers to put 2 new constitutional amendments on the ballot for 2026. Those would cement conservative policies on taxes and voter ID rules. Protests are expected at the legislature today. If all Republicans are present and vote the party line, the changes will become law.
We may learn today whether 6-time Super Bowl winning head coach Bill Belichick will be UNC's next football coach. Sources tell WRAL UNC made an offer to Belichick to coach the football team. No deal has been announced yet. UNC Board of Trustees must approve the contract once both parties agree to the details. Belichick has never coached in college. His interest in the position has turned UNC's search into a national story. UNC fired Coach Mack Brown late last month.
A Maryland man is facing charges after police say he stabbed a woman at a Holly Springs hotel. Police arrested Michael DeLoach. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was at the scene yesterday afternoon at the Holiday Inn Express on Collins Crossing Road. The woman was taken to the hospital. She is expected to recover. Police say DeLoach and the woman do not know each other.
A driver crashed into a fire truck that was responding to another crash on I-40 in Johnston County. This happened just before 7 last night on I-40 East, right near the NC-42 exit. Crews were there responding to an earlier crash that involved an overturned vehicle. There were serious injuries in that crash. And while they were there, another car ran into a Cleveland Fire Department truck from behind. That crash resulted in minor injuries. We're working to learn whether any charges will be filed.
Thousands of people in Southern California are out of their homes as this fast-moving wildfire is threatening homes in Malibu. The fire is burning from the ocean to the mountain canyons as much of Southern California is under red flag warnings. What's being called the Franklin Fire grew to more than 2,700 acres in just a matter of hours. It's being fueled by the Santa Ana winds that gusted up to 50 50 miles an hour. That's helped the fire jump across roads and canyons.
A woman has been charged with the murder of 7-year-old Zion Gibbs. 19-year-old Sierra Chambers is charged with first-degree murder in the case. Gibbs was shot during a drive-by shooting in June while playing video games on his couch. Chambers previously faced other charges for hiding a vehicle used in the crime. Police upgraded her charges after further investigation. Chambers is in the Cumberland County Detention Center without bond.
In Syria, families are desperately trying to find out the fate of missing loved ones. People are turning to social media for help as they search for family members believed to have been held by the Assad regime in secret prisons. Yesterday, families broke holes in the walls, searching for secret rooms and basements in a prison outside of Damascus, hoping to find loved ones alive. All they found was paperwork. A Syrian human rights group says most of the country's 100,000 missing prisoners are likely dead.
Progress to slow the inflation. The rate of inflation may have stalled. That's what experts expect to see in an economic report due out this morning. The Consumer Price Index measures price changes for the goods and services we buy every day. Economists say the November report will likely show the inflation rate is up 1/10 of a point from October. Federal Reserve will use this and other data in its decision next week on whether to lower interest rates. The CPI report is due to come out at 8:30 this morning.
Today, we'll learn more about a partnership between North Carolina Central University and Google on artificial intelligence. The university is set to announce an investment from Google. NC Central says this will establish the university as a national leader in AI education, research, and innovation. The announcement is set for 10 this morning at the NC Central Student Center.
A new lawsuit against a chatbot app claims the app encouraged a child to commit self-harm and violence.
What we see is that it sends these kids down these terrible rabbit holes.
Why lawyers for the parents suing the company say this is not a design flaw, but rather a deliberate design choice.
And the sale of Alex Jones's website, InfoWars, has been rejected by a judge. Why The Onion will no longer have ownership over his media empire.
Also, today's a WRAL Weather Alert Day. This is a live look right now in Durham. Good morning to you from the American Tobacco campus. And we'll show you when the worst of this rain will be coming through and when the wind will pick up in our area.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
441 this morning, live look at Apex. Some of the rain has come to an end for the time being, but you definitely see it is quite wet out there this morning. You're going to come across that during the morning commute, especially in the western half of the area. Very heavy rain moving up through parts of Chatham, Orange, and Durham counties. You're going to have to wait a little bit in areas like Fayetteville and Goldsboro to get in on the rain. But for parts of the Triangle, this is what to watch out for the morning commute. Traffic delays are likely, so if you can budget a few extra minutes, probably be a good idea for you as we see some heavy rain again in parts of the Triangle during our peak commute hours. It's warm out there, hour by hour, temperatures in the 60s. Once the rain passes through, we'll see temperatures dropping. I have a look at the newest data on Futurecast that's coming up in just a little bit.
Chris, thank you. New this morning, The Onion's bid to buy Alex Jones's InfoWars has been rejected. A bankruptcy judge ruled late last night the auction process that resulted in The Onion being awarded the media empire was unfair. It's not immediately clear whether there will be a new auction. The Onion's parent company partnered with families of the victims of the 2012 Sandy Hook school shooting for the bid. The family successfully sued Jones for defamation, winning court judgments now valued at $1.2 billion. Part of the Onion's plan for InfoWars was to make it an anti-violence organization, Everytown, for gun safety, its exclusive advertiser.
Town of Chapel Hill is taking 10 electric buses out of service after one of them caught on fire. It happened around 2:45 yesterday afternoon. No one was hurt, but the town says it is taking those other buses out of service as a precaution, and it will not affect service. The fire is under investigation.
A woman is dead after a car crash that happened as police were responding to a bomb threat at Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene's home. The crash happened Monday in Georgia. Police had gotten an email saying a pipe bomb was in Greene's mailbox. It turned out to be a hoax. Greene says the email was traced to a Russian IP address. She says she's been the subject of 9 such threats. The FBI is investigating. The task force in charge of investigating the 2 assassination attempts against President-elect Trump has released its final report. They found the shooting at the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania was, quote, preventable and should not have happened. They say the Secret Service failed in preparation, security, and communication. For the second attempt on Trump's life, this time in Florida, the committee praised the Secret Service. The report says the agent's actions foiled the assassination attempt. Going forward, the lawmakers recommend better training for agents and more streamlined communication.
A man with ties to the gang MS-13 is in federal custody after being arrested in Durham for a murder in El Salvador. A worldwide alert was sent out for 39-year-old Rene Arturo Caña-Rivas. He was wanted for a murder in El Salvador in 2019. Authorities say he's a member of MS-13 and accused of a number of other crimes. Rivas was arrested on November 30th at his home in Durham. He's waiting to be extradited to El Salvador.
Parents are alleging a chatbot encouraged their child to commit self-harm and violence. The popular AI service called Character AI is being sued over disturbing content parents say it pushes to children and teens. The app that allows users to chat with seemingly human-like characters. The lawsuit says a bot coaxed a teenage boy to cut himself and also wrote things seeming to encourage violence against the teen's parents. Lawyers say this is not a design flaw, but the direct result of underlying design choices. Character AI has not commented on the lawsuit.
You have another chance to tell Raleigh city leaders how you want tax dollars to be spent. City leaders are holding several listening sessions over the next 2 months. The goal of these sessions is to learn where taxpayers believe their money should go in Raleigh's budget. The first in-person session is tonight at Clouds Brewing. It starts at 6. It ends at 7:30. You can also submit suggestions through the city's website.
North Carolina Congressman Dan Bishop is being tapped for a role in President-elect Donald Trump's administration. Trump named Bishop his pick for Deputy Director for Budget at the Office of Management and Budget. In a True Social post, Trump called Bishop a tireless fighter for the MAGA movement. Bishop has served in Congress since 2019. He ran for North Carolina's Attorney General in this year's election. He lost to Democrat Jeff Jackson.
St. Augustine's University is appealing the loss of its accreditation. The accrediting board voted to remove the school from membership over concerns about its financial stability. Accreditation is tied to federal funding for the school and whether students can receive federal aid. The interim president says the university will resolve the remaining concerns during the appeals process. The school will keep its accreditation during the appeals process. A hearing is expected in February.
The Environmental Protection Agency announced a ban this week on the use of 2 dangerous chemicals. They've contaminated many parts of the state, including the water at Camp Lejeune. The chemicals known as TCE and PCE have been linked to cancer and other adverse health effects. The announcement hits close to home for families who were unknowingly exposed for decades at Camp Lejeune. Mike Partain was born on the base and showed us this photo of his mother in the hospital with contaminated water on the bedside table that she used to make formula.
And when you look at the risk factors, I shouldn't have male breast cancer. And at the time of my diagnosis, I was 39 years old. Banning this chemical protects our future. I mean, we got to get it out of the environment. We've got to get it out of the ground and out of the drinking water so that people are not exposed.
Partain says he spent 18 years advocating for these protections. But with the Trump administration potentially moving toward deregulation, many are concerned the ban on these kinds of chemicals could be reversed.
Kroger and Albertsons plans to merge have been blocked. A judge blocked that $25 billion merger yesterday. Federal Trade Commission argued the merger would eliminate head-to-head competition between the grocery chains. That could lead to higher prices for shoppers and reduced bargaining leverage for unionized workers. If the deal went through, Kroger would own approximately 5,000 stores across the U.S.
It is going to be a wet and windy Wednesday. That is why it's a WRAL weather alert day. Chris Michaels is tracking the weather. We're going to get significant amounts of rain from this.
It looks like it. Already starting to see that in parts of Chatham, Orange, and Durham counties. Most of us looking at about an inch of rain at least. And then some strong wind gusts as the storm system pulls closer to us. There's a live look at the Lucky Strike Tower. That's the only thing that's really lit up. Everything else is gloomy, dark, and the rain coming into the Bull City heavy at times. And you can see that on dual Doppler 5000. Look at all the oranges and reds, can't miss it. Just west of Southern Pines, really pouring down in Siler City, Pittsburgh along US 64, and then extending as you get closer to Chapel Hill, Hillsborough, Durham, and then moving up toward Oxford. Parts of South Hill and Mecklenburg County getting poured on as well. It's going to take some time before we see this in Wake, Johnston, and Harnett counties. By 7 a.m., that's when I think we do start to see some of that heavy rain pivoting to the east, so peak commute time is going to be pretty rough around here. Temperatures will be in the 60s meanwhile, and that's going to allow another line of showers and storms to develop, and some of that could be on the strong side after 11 a.m., especially as you go east of the Triangle, where temperatures will peak in the 70s. That's going to be the case up until about 3 p.m. or so. Temperatures then drop from west to east late afternoon, heading into the evening. So by 7 p.m., most of us in the 30s and 40s, and in between that drop in temperatures, you tend to get some pretty gusty wind, which from time to time is going to be between 20 and 25 miles per hour, but especially this afternoon, can't rule out gusts of 30 to 40 miles per hour. So if you have some of those Christmas inflatables, lay them down, maybe unplug them for the time being, because it will get quite windy at times. Today's a WRAL weather alert day, as Renee was mentioning. Then we're colder and drier Thursday and Friday. High temperatures in the low 50s, mornings near freezing. That'll set the stage for the Durham Holiday Parade Saturday. That's looking good. Rain chances then rise again heading into Sunday, and the warmth coming back early next week. You're looking at high temperatures in the 60s, low temperatures in the 40s. We'll have another look at some of our cameras around the area showcasing that heavy rain coming up in the 5 o'clock hour.
Thanks, Chris. 28 years later, it's finally here. We'll show you the first trailer to this long-awaited zombie movie up next.
And the Wake County Sheriff's Office is giving back this holiday season. We'll tell you about their plan to give out presents today to kids in our area.
Today, the Wake County Sheriff's Office will donate gifts to local children in need. They do this every year. It's their annual Angel Tree program. Staffers choose an angel from the tree and buy a toy, clothing, or some other gift for that child. Salvation Army will come by this morning and pick up the gifts to give to at least 100 children.
After 34 years as an educator, Dr. Marvin Connolly plans to retire. Connolly spent the past 6 years as superintendent of Cumberland County Public Schools. WRAL's Gilbert Bays talked with Connolly about his love for children, education, and his plans for the future.
Well, this is a bittersweet day for Dr. Marvin Connolly. He's announced his retirement from the Cumberland County Schools as superintendent. It's a position he's held for the past 6 years. I sat down with him and he told me in great detail why now is the right time to step down. Dr. Marvin Connolly is no stranger to being a leader. He was an officer in the 82nd Airborne Division and served as Chief of Staff for Wake County Schools. He became superintendent here in Cumberland County in 2018. He says the past 6 years have been turbulent times.
So if you think about it, gentlemen, in 2018, we had a 100-year storm. In 2019, I had stage 4 cancer. In 2020, we had a global pandemic, and we had political racial unrest with the murder of George Floyd, who grew up in this area.
Connolly says leadership is about motivating people to do their very best during tough times, and it's paid off in improved student performance.
We have the highest graduation rate in the history of the district. Recently, in the last couple of years, we've had 17 of our low-performing schools come off the low-performing list.
But Conley says it's time to spend more time with his church in Fuquay Varina, where he's the pastor, and his family.
I'm at a point in my life now with 11 grandchildren, 1 great-granddaughter, and they are demanding more of my time.
While Conley is retiring, he's not hanging up his educational hat. He plans on being a consultant and an interim superintendent to schools in need. In Cumberland County, Gilbert Bays, WRAL News.
Jeremy Allen White is heading to a galaxy far, far away. According to Deadline, the Bear Star has joined the cast of the next Star Wars movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu. He will be the voice of Jabba the Hutt's son. Sigourney Weaver is also set to star in the movie. The film is due out in May.
It's also time to lace up your shoes and run for your life. The first trailer for the long-awaited zombie thriller 28 Years Later is out. It's the sequel to director Danny Boyle's 2002 movie 28 Days Later. The movie follows actor Aaron Taylor Johnson and a group of survivors of the rage virus. Jodie Comer and Ralph Fiennes are also in this film. The movie arrives in theaters June 20th.
A UNC School of the Arts graduate is nominated for a Golden Globe. Margaret Qualley appeared in The Substance, a film generating lots of talk online. She plays Sue alongside Demi Moore's character Elizabeth. Qualley's performance earned her a nomination of Best Performance by a female actor in a supporting role.
We could find out today who will become the new head coach for the UNC football team. What we know about the offer made to legendary NFL coach Bill Belichick.
A kayaker accused of faking his own death and leaving the country is now in a Wisconsin jail. The update we expect to get from law enforcement today.
And The Voice has crowned a new champion, a new winner right here. We'll show you the performance that sealed the victory for Sofrania Vasquez.